Welcome back to NDTV Profit's Union Budget 2026 coverage, which continues all day. We have Prashant Khemka, who's joining in now as well, who's the founder at WhiteOak's Capital. Prashant, welcome to the show and always a pleasure to speak to you. This is Hiral on this side. Actually, what I want to ask you is, if on a scale of 10, if you have to rate this budget, where would it, where would it stand for you, number one, and your key highlight according to you?
Certainly, Hiral, it's a very difficult question, which for most people, there's a fairly straightforward answer, but I usually decline. To answer this question because it is well above my pay grade to be grading Honorable Finance Minister's budget. So I would again very respectfully pass on this task for now. What I would say is, look, like every budget, there are several puts and takes.
Yes.
I think fair to say, in my assessment, as I was listening, it seems like a budget that is a budget of continuity. I think we've seen over the last decade or more robust economic growth at about 6%. And a lot of positives have taken place. One can argue, obviously, we all ye dil mange more, and we all want it to be faster, the reforms to be faster, the growth to be faster, and whatnot. And what this budget has provided is stability or continuity of policy making without necessarily a major leap forward, which obviously that's something that one can hope for every time, but nonetheless continuing in the right direction. Now, that's at a very 50,000 feet level. But reality is a lot of real substance lies in the fine print. Yeah. Now I haven't had the time to go through the fine print, nor to discuss with any expert who's gone through the fine print. But let me take an example. What to me the single biggest problem that we as an economy need to solve is the relative ranking on ease of doing business. Yes, we made a lot of progress from, let's say, over the last decade till such time that such metrics were published. It showed that we jumped up from something like 142 to 60th or something, 62nd. But guess what? We don't remember who's the 60th fastest runner in the world, right? Sprinter in the world, or the 60th best tennis player. Now Australian Open is going on. So 60th best, is better than 142nd, but we need to continue to excel with the kind of purpose that we all Indians agree that we need to in cricket. In cricket, we all agree we need to be number one. The same kind of commitment has to be there in ease of doing business. And in this budget, it was very heartening to hear the finance minister mention during the speech. If you were to do a word count, I'm sure these words, ease of business and ease of living, were mentioned probably more frequently than many of the prior budgets that I can remember, and many comments were made along those lines. Now, these are comments which may not grab headlines, but in my view, these are what may provide collectively the basis for a greater ease of doing business and hence faster job creation and economic growth longer term. Let me just highlight one or two such comments. Like somewhere along, and I just was noting while the speech was going on, the words might not be precise, but early in the budget speech, Honorable FM mentioned that there will be a committee set up or something to that effect to review of rules governing non-debt instruments for foreign investors. Yeah. This is a subject that's attracts a vast amount of regulations, a maze of regulations in India. And if truly these are reviewed and unnecessary, regulations are done away with, which have outlived their use, right? That can be a big positive
Certainly.
from a...
So big positive, Prashant, and you hit the nail on the head. The question that a lot of people are asking, a lot of investors are asking, though, is the kind of drop that you're seeing today seems to be a knee-jerk reaction, particularly to that STT issue. And as you've pointed out, the devil is in the detail, fine print, etc. But the message is clear that this is a relatively growth-oriented budget. And so, assuming that the consumption push that took place last year pans out and heads into FY27 as well, does the investment thesis change at all? Are these dips buying opportunities, in your opinion?
See, first of all, we have to remember it's only 1% drop. Yeah. Nowadays, 1% drop is no big deal in either direction.
Sure.
Second, in my view, STT is not the reason contributing for this 1% drop. It's an STT not on cash transactions. It's an STT on FNO. And in the overall scheme of things, in terms of pricing, while the percentage increase from where it was and where it is might seem very high, but anything that is so small, a minor change can also be big in percentage terms. So I don't think that is impacting the market. I think there was some expectation in the market that had built over time, over recent months. Now, we are not in a crisis situation in absolute terms, but when you think of how the global markets have done over the last 12 months, India has trailed by about 40 percentage points, in dollar terms, and maybe more in rupee terms. So for investors globally, it feels like India is in some form of crisis on a relative basis. Plus, the trade deal with all the politics around it and all the commentary around it, plus the geopolitics, wars going on here and there. India itself has, we are at our own operations in Hindu. So there was some expectation building in that it could lead to an out of the ordinary budget, out of the regular budget.
Right. So, Prashant, we got your points. And of course, the market had a knee-jerk reaction. But in time, it's probably also digesting some bit of the STT hike and really, coming around with it. Thank you so much for joining us with your initial take on the union budget. Thank you so much for joining us on NDTV Profit.